Hi, good evening.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. What's your name?
I'm Sultan.
I'm sorry?
Sultan,
Sultan?
yes.
Very nice to meet you. My name is Savannah. So, where are you from?
Nice to meet you too. My home country is Pakistan, but I no longer live here. I'm in Saudi Arabia,
Oh,
and yes, and I work as a teacher here.
you're a teacher?
Yes,
I'm a teacher as well. What age level do you teach?
10 to 12 years.
Oh, that's do you like it?
Yes, I do.
I'm a teacher as well. I teach around 7 to 8, so second grade.
Second grade. Okay. I teach grade 4 students.
You teach what?
Four grade students.
That's really cool. Okay. So, what would you like for me to help you with today?
I just want to have a general conversation.
Just a general conversation? That's cool.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about what subjects do you like to teach?
I teach English.
You teach English?
Yes.
How long?
We,
Hmm?
yes, I was telling you that we do not teach multiple subjects. One teacher is usually assigned with one subject, and he or she has to teach only that subject.
Oh, so you teach math.
No, I teach English.
You teach English, sorry.
Yes.
It's late here. I'm not
Okay.
used to talking to people this late, but bear with me.
Hmm. No problem. So you teach multiple subjects to second grade students?
I sure do. I teach
Okay. So yes, please go ahead.
yeah, I teach math. I teach literacy, reading, writing. I teach history. I teach science.
So, how many students do you have? Like, what is the strength of the class?
Well, things are a little bit different now because of the coronavirus. So
Hmm.
typically, I'll have the way it works is I can only have 10 students in a class.
Hmm.
So, and especially how it
In
works.
and in normal condition, what is the strength
In normal conditions, there's about 20 students per class.
per class? So, do you have different section of the same class, or you only teach one class?
Well, as of right now, I'm working on getting like an official license, so I kind of float around to different classrooms. So I'm more of like an assistant teacher, but I still
Okay.
teach. And they still call
Hmm.
me a teacher. Like the parents still refer to me as a teacher. But so I'll float around to different classrooms, like I'll go teach different classrooms. But when I am a
Hmm.
licensed teacher, I'll only have one classroom.
Okay, that's cool. So, how long have you been teaching?
This is my first year.
Wow,
Like I said, I'm more of an
great.
assistant, so I'm kind of like learning how to be a teacher.
Hmm.
But before that, I was a substitute teacher. And
Okay.
I will say I prefer being a teaching assistant or being a teacher over being a substitute teacher.
So, what are the duties of a substitute teacher?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Uh, I'm saying that as a substitute teacher, you just have to teach when the teacher is not available. The main teacher is not available, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, okay. And as an assistant teacher, do you teach some lessons to the students, or you only assist the main teacher?
I do both. So I do teach the main lessons. So in a way, I'm kind of like a co-teacher. Like I'll pull some students, like I'll teach a group of students, and then the other teacher will teach a group of students. Like during literacy, the teacher will teach literacy, and then I'll pull a group of kids and teach them literacy. And then during math, she'll teach them math, and then I'll teach them math. Or if there's any time for science, she'll teach them science, and then I'll teach another group science. So it's kind of split in half in a way.
Okay. I believe these days you must be giving online classes.
Yeah, we are. It's very sad. I'd much rather have the students in school, but the good news is that they're coming back on Monday. Well, half of them.
Wow. Excellent. Great. So, where are you from?
I'm from the USA. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, but I'm currently living in North Carolina.
Okay, so in that part of USA, the government has decided to open the schools.
Yes.
Excellent. So, the numbers are decreasing? How is the situation?
It varies. It definitely varies on a day-to-day basis. Some days are good, some days are bad, but like I said, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed.
So here in Saudi Arabia, we are also giving online classes, but teachers have to go to school, and from the school they give online classes.
So what's that like? Do you like teaching online?
I like both because both the ways have their pros and cons. So I'm okay with both of them.
Yeah, I'd much rather be in the classroom, especially with the younger kids, because sometimes the little kids they don't listen, they don't pay attention.
Yes, exactly. And they even don't like to sit. They keep monkeying around in the class.
I know. I noticed that.
So how do you manage it? How do you control them?
Well, for the most part, so I have a system called Dojo points. So it's like they earn points.
Yes.
You use Dojo points?
Yes.
They work.
I also use Dojo, but the problem is that some students were complaining, Mr. Why are you not giving us points? And they were just complaining about the points, and they got very upset about it.
I know they do. So same with my kiddos. Like they'll complain to me, or they'll complain to the other teacher, and they'll be like, "Why do I only get one? We were supposed to get 2 points." And me and the other teacher look at each other like, at least they get a point. And till finally, I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Is 1 point not good enough? Okay, I'll take that away." And they'll be like, "No." I was like, "That's what I thought."
So, what other applications or such softwares do you use in the classroom?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
I'm asking you what different softwares or applications do you use in the class apart from Dojo?
That's a tough one. I know we use like different platforms, like we use ABC, yeah, and that's where they can kind of go and play some educational games. We have resources such as Epic, where they can log on and read a book on their iPad. They have, what else do they have? They have ABC Mouse. They have Go Noodle. I really like Go Noodle because it gives kids a chance to like kind of get up and dance and move around and be active.
I beg your pardon. What is its name?
Go Noodle.
Go Noodles?
I'll type it in.
Okay. Can be played internationally, or it is only in your country?
I think it's only in the United States, but you can see if there's something similar in your country, because it's always important to get the kids up and moving and dancing and give them a minute. Sometimes you have to give them a minute to monkey around and go crazy.
Yes, I use like quizzes. As you said, there is a software for some educational games. So quizzes I use for the same purpose. and then sometimes I use a wheel picker. It is to just select the students randomly so that they do not like get upset when their turn doesn't come.
I'm trying to think of what that is because I don't think we use that.
It is like a wheel
Oh,
where there are the names of the students. It randomly selects the names. For example, if I have to ask any questions from the students, I just spin that wheel and it randomly selects one student's name, and then I ask the question from that particular student.
that's really cool. What's that called?
Wheel picker.
Wheel picker.
Yes, wheel picker.
Okay. Well, I will definitely have to run that by my coworkers. I bet they'll love that. Because sometimes, like if I'm in a group of kiddos, sometimes even I have a hard time deciding which kid to pick. And do you ever have days where it's like you see some kids who are just not paying attention? You know they're not going to get the right answer. You know they don't want to be there, and it's very hard to want to pick them. But sometimes you have to get their attention.
So, what are the different challenges you are facing, especially in an online class?
Well, really, with the kids, they're all at home and they're in the comfort of their home. I've had kids fall asleep on me. I had a kid put his computer right next to his bed so he could take a nap while in class. And I saw it.
Wow.
And so I finally got all the kids to leave the Zoom. And then I shouted his name really loud. He was like, what? I was like, class is over, even though it wasn't really over. He was like, what? Did I miss it? I was like, yeah, because you were asleep. And he was freaking out. I was like, okay, we still have some class time, but let this be a lesson to you. And I told him if it happened again, he'd lose dojos. And I called his parents, and because I was like, he can't be sleeping in class. And that has happened on multiple occasions with multiple students. They're still in bed during their morning meeting. And because I'll have some students who are still in bed during their morning meeting, haven't gotten up, or are still asleep. But then another group of students who are up, they're dressed, they've had breakfast, they're ready to go. And it's like I'm trying to communicate with those who aren't as prepared in the morning as they should be. So that's a challenge, having children come onto the Zoom who are distracted and disorganized. It drives me crazy. What do you like to do outside of teaching?
I like to read books and try to engage myself in different activities. These days, I'm just learning driving because I need to get my driving license. So I'm just practicing it.
Oh wow, that's a big deal.
Yes, it is, and especially in Saudi Arabia, it is next to impossible.
Oh wow. Is the traffic really bad over there?
Yes. No, it's not about traffic, but the procedure to get your license is very difficult. Like I started going there from 17 December, and still I haven't got my license. Still I'm practicing it.
Do you like driving?
Yes, I do. I had a driving license back in Pakistan, but the problem is that they do not consider your previous license.
No.
You have to start from the scratch.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
What about you? Do you have your
Yes,
driving license?
I've had it since I was 16. So about 11 years.
Excellent. So is it difficult to get one?
Not really. So the age to get a driver's license is, I believe, 16. So very young, very, very young. And you just have to take courses and you have to pass driver's ed. So what they'll do is you take courses and then you have to make appointments to drive with a teacher, and they'll correct you on like your right-hand turns, your left-hand turns, where how you stop, how to make K-point turns, how to parallel park and everything. And making sure you're not speeding. And so you have to do that several times. And then you do a physical driving test where they watch you, they observe you while you drive. And if you pass, you can go and get your license and then buy a car.
So how many days did it take to get your driving
It actually
license?
took me a while because I actually did not want to learn how to drive. I was growing up in Texas, and the freeways there are really, really scary. There are a lot of people flying down the highway, a lot of aggressive drivers, a lot of people in big pickup trucks trying to hog the road. And Texas is known for that. And I was scared too. I told my parents, I was like, I don't want to die in a car accident. And they were worried about that too. They knew how scary it was until finally they were like, you need to learn. They were like, you're a big girl now, you can do this. And so I mean, I went through driver's ed when I was about 15, but I did after that my parents couldn't get me to drive, and then by the time I was almost 17, they got me into it. They were really trying to, like, my dad was really good at teaching me how to drive, better than any instructor. Like, he was always very calm. He'd play music.
Wow.
He'd, kind of joke around. And anytime I made a mistake, he was always like very calm and very like would direct me through it. My mother, on the other hand, she was always like uptight, would always grab onto something and always be like, dear God, don't let me die. Don't let me die. And anytime I make a mistake, she'd be like, stop the car, stop the car. Oh my God. And I'd be like, geez, lady. So yeah, I was about 17 when I got my license and when I got my first car, and it was exciting. It was definitely very exciting. I like to drive. I like to drive during the day. I don't like driving at night.
You are very fortunate that your father taught you in that way, but most of the people really get mad at you when they teach you
Oh,
how
yes.
to drive a car. And I'm actually experiencing the same in the driving license school, so I know it. When the instructor tells you your mistakes, it is good, but most of they don't bother to tell you anything. So that is the problem.
It's always good to have an instructor who's honest, so that way you know how to do better next time. Because driving, it's very dangerous. It can be very, very dangerous, and it's always good to like keep a mental note or even like take notes on like what you can do differently, so that way you can impress them. Like, for instance, if you're having trouble with parallel parking and you go home and practice parallel parking, when you go back to them and they see that you can parallel park, they're going to be so proud. They're going to be like, oh my goodness, like you learn this, like you know this. Kind of like, just like us as teachers, it's like when a student finally understands something and we see it, it's like, yes,
you get happy.
For sure.
But the problem is that it also happens with me that I can drive, not in the driving school. When the instructor is not with me, I can drive correctly, properly. There is no mistakes. But when I sit with the instructor and he starts observing me, I just get confused. Like, then I start making mistakes and silly mistakes. Those things which I really know, at that point of time, I forget everything.
I know the feeling, like when somebody's like breathing down, kind of like breathing down your neck, kind of staring at you, kind of glaring at you. Like,
yes.
I had that same experience when I was student teaching. Student teaching was a nightmare. I love teaching, but not student teaching, where I had a teacher watch me.
Student teaching,
That's
what does it
when
mean?
I'm learning how to teach and I go into a classroom and I learn from the teacher how to teach a classroom. And then
you were observing the teachers.
I was
while
observing
taking
teachers
the
and
class.
then they would observe me. And that was always really scary.
Okay.
So the teachers would observe me, and I had this one teacher.
Ah,
So you know what I'm talking
yes.
about.
Yes.
I had this.
Yes. when someone comes in your class and
Yes.
observes you, that how well you are teaching.
I know, that's always really scary. Then I don't do as good a job.